presente ahora. Me amo. Estoy libre de mi ira. Estoy libre de mi tristeza. El amor es mi experiencia.
Hello brothers and sisters of the world. My name is Benjamin Noah and this is my first video since I've decided to follow my passion in life. Today we're here to talk about this painting. This is called Heat. I only recently just began to understand what this painting means. So I'll explain a little bit about what was happening at the time. My grandparents had just passed away and my grandfather was the money man in our family. He had a really rough upbringing. He was an orphan and he had to fend for himself. He was a 5-pound pom that came over on the by himself when he was 16, lived on the streets of Sydney, and he had to fight hard to survive, and earning money and holding on to money was very important to him. And you'll find that with a lot of people that lived through the Great Depression and those times. They were very hard. That was a time when the wars really affected us back here, not like now where we have, you know, men off fighting in our name, in the name of our country, and it's only really causing pain to the people that they're fighting and to them, to the Australian soldiers that are suffering from PTSD due to that. Anyway, I digress. So through this period, my grandparents has passed away. I'd had a very hard time with the rest of my family. It was a typical estate battle. It got ugly. Like, people got greedy, and I understand why. And you know, like, I think with inheritance, people expect inheritance. You know, it's something that's in the back of your mind, whether you want it or not. Unless you're completely selfless, you know that that's coming. You know that even though it will be sad when your parents pass away or someone passes away, that you kind of expect that you're going to have this big injection of cash in your life, and that's going to solve these problems, or you've already planned what you're going to do with it. And the reason why it got so weird was because my grandmother went behind my grandfather's back and wrote another will, and it really threw a spanner in the mix, because before that they had a will where there was only 6 people. It was evenly distributed before then, but she kind of got selfish and she only wanted to supply for her side of the family, which was me and my mother and my uncle. My mum and my uncle, we had major falling out. I still haven't spoken to my uncle in probably over a year or 2 now, but that's a bridge that I wish to heal. And Robert, I forgive you, and I'm sorry for what I did. It's a hard time, you know, when you're grieving and you've lost your loved ones, but then you're all turning on each other in some way or form out of greed, and greed for money, you know, and forgetting what's really important, which is love, and, you know, to support each other through the grieving process. And, you know, it's a hard lesson to learn in life, and, you know, but we all grow, you know, we all learn. So what happened then was I just couldn't handle it anymore, and I left my family home, and I moved to Melbourne. I'd always wanted to move to Melbourne, and I just had to get away from all of it, from the pain, and yeah, so I left, and I went to Melbourne with my partner. I got a job that I really didn't like, and I was in constant pain while I was working on this job. I had lower back pain. The only reason I had this job was I was doing what was sensible, what people would tell you is sensible. So I thought, okay, I've got this money. I had $100,000, and of my inheritance, and I thought this is enough to put down a deposit on a house, because that's what we're going to do. This is what society tells us, you know. You've got this opportunity, you have to buy a house. That's what everyone does, but no one truly owns land, you know. And when you pass on into spirit, when you pass away, like, you can't take your house with you. It's just a construct made up by the system that is in place, the money system. And so that's what I thought, and I had all this responsibility. That's what my grandfather would have wanted, and I was kind of taking on that role, you know what I mean? He was always sensible with money, and I was like, I can't stuff this up. So I had this job. I really didn't like this job. You know, I was working as a project manager for a web design company, working for a kind of national retailer, going to meetings and like working from home and managing like developers overseas, and it sounds okay, I guess, but like it just made me sad, and I constantly was in pain. And this is around the time I found kinesiology. My partner at the time, she found it first, and I went to the kinesiologist and I talked to her about what was going on, and I started working through what was going on, and I found out that I was taking on this role. I found out that I was so upset with my uncle because I felt all this responsibility that I had to step into this place, you know, but I wasn't legally, you know, an executor of the will or anything like that. So at the time I did this painting, and I up until last week, and this painting's about 2 or 3 years old, I had no idea of the relevance of it. And all of my paintings, they are in some way, or have been, cathartic. They've been a healing process. Like I haven't, as an extremely happy person, there's a lot of sadness in my paintings, or there have been in the past. And this is, and art is my way to express my pain, or it has been leading up until now. And so yeah, I guess this is really me. This is me trying so hard to do this thing, do what's right inside this system, but I'm on fire. This pain, and there's this anger towards, you know, my uncle, I guess, at the time, and you know, and myself for not doing what was right during the whole process, not kind of standing up for what I believe in, for compromising my beliefs, compromising my morals during the process, and not doing what I felt was right, just because other people told me that that's what I should do, and yeah, I wasn't following my heart. So that's what this painting means. This is heat, and that's actually Marlon Brando, and like it doesn't look much like him, but I think just I was watching Marlon Brando movies at the time, and you know, I don't know, something resonated with me, and the photo, I think this one's from National Geo, I often reference through them, and yeah, so that's heat, and thank you for listening, and look forward to some more of these talks. I'm going to be talking through all of my paintings, and as I go, I'm going to be talking about my life, and about spirituality, and about love, and how we can all make the world a better place.